Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a genuinely fascinating transformation. Look, we all know Cristiano Ronaldo for breaking unbelievable football records and just absolutely dominating the pitch. But there's this parallel story playing out alongside his career that's honestly just as compelling. We're going to map out how he evolved from a young, hyper-focused athlete navigating an insane media frenzy into the dedicated family man we see today. His relationship journey has been a total roller coaster of headlines, intense speculation, and unforgettable public moments. And we're going to unpack exactly how he navigated through all of that noise to find lasting love. So, I want to pose a direct question right off the bat to get to the core of this explainer. How does a global superstar actually find real love? It's a seriously tough question. Finding a genuine, authentic connection amidst the flashing cameras and the pressure of unprecedented global fame is incredibly difficult. When you're literally one of the most recognizable people on the planet, how do you separate who's truly there for you from the swirling media circus? That's the exact puzzle Ronaldo had to figure out.
Let's take a quick look at the timeline we'll be covering. We're tracking this from his early fame and rumors around 2003, moving into the power couple era in 2010, then that major private pivot in 2016, all the way to the grounded reality he's living today. Tracking this shows us exactly how his approach changed as his fame reached historic levels.
Chapter 1. The Early Fame Frenzy. Navigating the Spotlight.
You know, when his talent just absolutely exploded in the early 2000s, the media immediately began scrutinizing his private life. But I really love this quote from Gemma Atkinson about their brief relationship, because it totally grounds this larger-than-life figure. She described him simply as polite and down-to-earth. It's a stark, very human contrast to the untouchable superstar the headlines were constantly making him out to be.
And man, that media attention only ramped up. Take 2008, for instance, when his fleeting relationship with Nereda Gallardo attracted heavy, relentless media coverage. The cameras were documenting their every single move. Like a lot of these early romances, it ended after just a few months. He was clearly still trying to figure out how to balance an exploding career with a personal life that was suddenly under a massive microscope.
Which brings us to Chapter 2, the Irina Shayk era, the global power couple.
Everything fundamentally shifted in 2010. He met Irina Shayk during a fashion campaign, and almost overnight they became the ultimate global power couple. For nearly 5 years, they were just everywhere. They shared red carpets, they were sitting front row at international fashion shows, but despite the whole world eagerly anticipating a Hollywood-style marriage, they respectfully separated in 2015, and they notably kept the reasons entirely private.
Chapter 3. Meeting Georgina Rodríguez, the private pivot.
Fast forward to 2016, and his life changes again, but this time, complete pivot away from the Hollywood glitz. He actually met Georgina Rodríguez while she was working at a luxury fashion store. No red carpets, no flashing cameras. Georgina later described the whole thing as completely unexpected. In that quiet, chance encounter grew incredibly organically into a profoundly strong connection.
The contrast in his life journey here is just staggering. Think about it. The Iranian era was lived entirely out loud, right? At awards ceremonies and heavily publicized events. But the Georgina era started with an unexpected meeting and developed completely away from that constant attention. By being shielded from the relentless glare of the media spotlight, this relationship was finally given the privacy it needed to actually grow.
And that leads us to Chapter 4, Building a Lasting Family, the Grounded Reality. Over the years, Georgina really became the anchor of his family. She stepped right in to help care for the children together with him, and she's been there supporting him through major international club changes, super intense tournaments, and moving to entirely different countries. Together, they welcomed their own children, growing their family. And despite the constant swirling rumors from fans obsessing over when they might officially marry, they've actively chosen to keep a lot of those personal details private. Instead of focusing on official announcements, they focus on what actually matters. Prioritizing family vacations, celebrating birthdays, and just living everyday life as a deeply committed family unit.
So, looking back from the early 2000s to right now, the biggest challenge has always been separating genuine love from media expectation. Rumors just spread way faster than facts, generating endless unconfirmed headlines. But his confirmed reality isn't found in the gossip columns. The big takeaway here is that amidst overwhelming external noise, he actively chose to build and protect a grounded, private life. He basically stopped playing to the cameras and started prioritizing his actual reality.
Which brings us to a pretty fascinating thought to leave you with today. We've watched his evolution from a flashy prospect plastered all over the tabloids to a man who, whether he's breaking records on the pitch or relaxing at home, clearly prioritizes his family above all the public noise. It makes you wonder, when you've conquered the world and achieved unprecedented fame, is the ultimate victory not the trophies or the headlines, but the ability to finally shut out the world and find a true, private sanctuary with the people you love? Think about that as you consider his incredible journey.